I think we can figure it out from there.
Just wing it.
Yeah. I think we're live now. What's going on, everybody? James Corbett here. We have Rocco. We have Rocco's daughter, Remy, with us today.
Making her podcast debut.
She's making her debut so she can hang out with us. And we can do this this live today. Happy to have Rocco back. He had to take a couple of weeks off, and last week I was traveling, so I wasn't able to do it. But that's okay. I mean, we're here now and making it happen. So,
and we're people, goddammit.
Yeah, and we're planning on just having like a really chill kind of conversation today, and talk to everybody. And we still have our co-host Cullen is here. He's very excited that Remy is here, so he will probably be making an entrance a couple of times while we're doing this. But again, we're really here just to talk and be here for you guys and discuss things that we're learning and stuff that we're going through in our lives, and kind of lead from the front in terms of talking, being open, and getting into hard topics. There's been a lady to kind of get into it. There's been a lady I've been talking to. Her name's Lisa. And she's a very smart woman, and she does a lot with business CEOs and stuff like that with their mental health and keeping them, stable and even and things like that. And she and I were talking about some of this stuff that I want to do, and some of the theories that I've been really developing for the past, I would say, couple of years at this point that I would love to put into a book. And we were really getting into it and talking a lot. And, she brought up some points to me about it. But the number one topic that we got into yesterday, because I was talking to her for like an hour or so, was actually, and I looked it up to see if anybody really dove into this, but entitlement and the power of entitlement that seems to be taking hold of so many Americans and American minds and weakening us.
Yeah.
And it's obviously it's rampant across the American community, but it's also really, you could see it plaguing even the veteran community, arguably one of the most important communities, especially when it comes to GDP. So the reason I bring up GDP and how much is brought in from the veteran community is because, that is a measure of production. And not saying it's, the most important, but it's a measure. One that I think not enough of us look at to see how, veterans are doing overall. They still bring in, it's a small subset of the community, still brings in the most GDP out of any group, which is fantastic, any civilian group, because, veterans are civilians, right? So, but I find this entitlement piece to be such a rampant problem because it drives the idea of victimhood into the individual, and they stay stuck, and anybody that gets into that feels stuck, and I it's just such a difficult thing to say out loud, but it seems to be more and more the truth.
Yeah. Well, I wholeheartedly agree. And this is not like making excuses as to why this is not making it seem like it's acceptable.
Sure.
But if anyone should be entitled and isn't entitled to the level that they're at, it's going to be veterans, right? Because and my question to you is, at what level does, like, if we'll say veterans, for instance, right? If a veteran is like, hey, I served my country, I should at least have this.
Mm-hmm.
There's that, and then there's, I want more. At what point is the entitlement? At what point is it entitlement, and what point is it getting what you're owed, kind of?
You want to come in?
Because I totally get it, right? When people have that entitlement, the sense of earning something is completely gone. The fact that you should have something just because you exist is ridiculous, for the most part. Past 18 years old.
Yeah.
But for veterans, where's that line of
Yeah.
entitlement, because they have earned a certain amount of entitlement.
You know, Jeff says we volunteered here.
We did. Yeah, absolutely.
There's a, you know what I think, if we go back in time and we look at history, we can find there's something interesting that happened. And by the way, everything we're talking about, this isn't again, it's a very difficult topic. I am a civilian and I'm talking about it's things that I've observed. So it could piss off a lot of veterans and they'll get all upset or whatever, but I'm not coming at you. I fucking love the community. I wanted to be a part of it and I was never able to because of physical injuries that I have.
More so than that, the talking points are the point here.
Yeah,
It's not
exactly.
going to express our views. It's not like, I don't think anybody should have entitlement, but I'm just asking that question
Exactly. Yeah,
for
yeah.
the conversation.
Exactly. So to dive into it, we got to look back in time. It's something I did. You know, you look at, we'll start the Vietnam veterans, because Vietnam veterans are the ones that really fought for a lot for getting, you know, things for vets, right? And they should have, and it's good that they did. You know, but then it started getting into this realm of like, you know, how to make it work. I feel like the system was set up in a way that, you know, you're basically saying to people, you have to be broken to receive the best and to receive the most. And I feel like it ended up morphing into this thing where it's now creates a system of somebody actually said it was a Marine vet. He put it best. He's like, dude, it's creating a welfare state. He's like, I don't want to be a part of the welfare state. It seems like that they're creating here, like through the system, because you have now guys in the VA who go out and they're like, hey, get your benefits, get your benefits, get your benefits. You know, sign up and you know, basically be broken or whatever, right? And it sends the wrong message to people who are already in a weakened mind state to just stay there and stay broken, stay consistent. And it's almost like sedating you to be comfortable. Right. And then it creates this conversation around boundaries and like, well, are you creating boundaries that are actually holding you back from growing? Or are you creating boundaries that are helping you grow? And you're still trying to grow, because you can set boundaries on things and push a person to stay within those boundaries, right? And instead of allowing you to break out of them. And it just becomes this whole piece of like, and they can protect it and manipulate it. Like you can give the excuse of, oh, I'm not in a good headspace right now, so I can't do this. And it's like, if you're constantly using that as a way to avoid doing work and avoid growing yourself, it's no longer a boundary, it's a manipulation, you know? And it's like, what are we doing here to help the veteran? And that's where it comes into, well, what's your proposed solution for, you know, the question that you just asked me, like, what's a proposed solution? I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure what it is. You know, like maybe it's if you're a veteran, you get certain things for the rest of your life. Like you get a, you know, free property taxes or something like that. You don't have to be a completely disabled veteran to get that, right? Maybe there's certain things that you can make to where it will avoid pushing people into this system of I'm disabled, right? Maybe it's you get free medical care for the rest of your life, no matter what.
There's
you know,
always
things like
caveats to that, though.
I know,
Like,
I know. That's the
medical
hard
care
part.
is shit. Like you get promised all of these things,
Mhm.
and then at the end of it, they're like, yeah, but also like fuck off. And my other thing, what up, Ray? My other thing is yes, most of us did volunteer, but what about the homeless vets that were drafted?
Yeah,
That's a different story. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
and then there's always the difference between, you know, I wasn't in a combat zone. What about veterans that were in a combat zone and
what do
you know,
they get as
yeah,
opposed to,
what do
yeah,
they get?
exactly. It's a really
They get a
and-
system that tries to fight them, saying that their PTSD may or may not have happened in the army. That's what they get.
Mhm. And that's the thing, right? Like it comes down to that broken piece of, you know, I'm broken, and they're being told that they're broken and they stay broken. And I feel like it's this, it's just it's a, like I said, it's a very difficult conversation, one that I have to dive into deeper and think about deeper. But you know, you have such a great community of people that have so much potential of serving, but it's almost like you take the service and then you hear guys saying like, oh, I serve this country and people treat me like shit. They feel like victims.
Yeah.
That's what it leads to. And then they stay stuck instead of trying to grow. I was talking to
That's also entitlement.
That's right. That's what I'm saying.
Super bit. Like if you're like, hey, I'm a veteran and both my legs were blown off, and I shot people and I have PTSD and I serve my country, you can't talk to me like that. That's still entitlement because I don't give a shit what you've been through. If I deem it necessary to talk to you like shit, that's my prerogative. First of all, I don't owe you that, right? Which is a shitty thing, right? Everybody should talk to each other with respect. But demanding it is that's entitlement.
That is entitlement, and that's where again it's a very challenging topic. It's a very challenging thing to get into. That's where stoicism really comes in as well, and actually a form of it. I was talking to a Green Beret last week. I was able to really get in. We really got into deep conversations together. I really enjoyed this guy's company and speaking with him. He was fantastic. And he was a Green Beret officer who he actually talked about it's okay. She's having fun. So he talked to me about like his experiences and such. And he said to me, he's like, you can't dwell on any of it. You can't dwell on it. And you got to keep going forward and you got to keep, that's a very stoic way of looking at things. And he was in combat. He was shot at, he was blown up. He went through the whole thing. He had to pick up bodies. He did the whole thing. Right.
Yep.
And
you have to go about life like it didn't happen.
Yeah. He's a high performer. He's still going after it. He's still going after life. And like, a part of his kids' lives, his wife's life, he has a great job when he got out and like set himself up. And, he really pushed himself to get to that next level and to still push himself to those other levels. Now, are there things he probably struggles with? Of course. But the whole concept really that it was getting at is you cannot dwell. Do not dwell. Always look forward. That is almost directly taken out of Marcus Aurelius's meditations, right? That's the Stoicism methodologies. That's like the handbook, if you will, for Stoicism. So
yeah.
It's really such a special thing to hear that because like, all right, so there's still guys out there who really believe in the concept of I'm not a victim, and I need to push forward and I need to make my life better. But I just feel when you hold people accountable, it's another thing that I really noticed too with the veteran community. I hold people accountable to things, accountable to their word. It seems they get very upset and they get mad, right? Even if you do it in a respectful way, it's pride and it's entitlement and it's all those things kind of like mixed in. And then it's a very interesting thing to be a witness to as a third party, to watch it happen. And it creates it's a very negative thing. And it's an infection. It's a virus that I feel like is going through our whole country, not just in the veteran community, but our whole country. And it kind of goes away from what America was founded on, which is literally take your own life in your own hands.
Yeah. The American dream, quote unquote. Yeah. Do just come here and make what you can of your life. That's pretty much what it is. You're not owed anything. Come here, get your hands dirty, go do something.
Bring value,
make your money.
Yeah. And with the money piece, it's actually the money isn't representative of how intelligent you are, how good you are, anything like that. In a capitalist society, I was just talking to a guy about this actually the other day, yesterday. I'm actually looking to partner up with him he has a men's group. It's called Made Man. And he's a vet who changed his whole life, accountability to the max. Has other guys coming into his program and things. It's a for-profit, but it's very much what Refit is trying to push, but he's more consistent with it because it's all about the coaching side and like helping guys out. He has a growing community, and it's absolutely fantastic to watch and to see it growing and succeeding. But he ended up saying like, I want to give everything away. Like, I don't want money, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, bro, I want to explain something real quick. You absolutely do want to make money. You do want to grow it, which you have more money for, and you can make partnerships with people like with Project Refit, where you can create a scholarship fund into your group, right? So we can get guys in for free because a lot of guys that need his help don't really have the money to be able to pay him. So it's like, hey, we create a scholarship fund through us. We get veterans, first responders, and their family members into your group and help them grow and help them out. And that's how you do it. And by the way, the money aspect of it, I was talking to Well, oh my gosh, very wealthy guy. He lives in New Jersey too, actually. Very famous name. I can't remember his name right now, off the top of my head. But he literally said to me, he's like, he's like, I understand the point of nonprofits, but if you have a for-profit that's doing well and giving back and like providing value to the community, you're doing just as much good. You don't have to be a nonprofit to do good in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And that was such a beautiful statement because that's capitalism at its core. It's literally, am I providing value to the community back? Am I giving something back that people want to buy and be a part of? Right. And have. So it is a complete different mindset shift in terms of what it means to give back and to bring value. And it goes against that narrative that I and our generation was very much driven down the throats of in our system, in our school system specifically, of like, oh, it's evil, capitalism's evil, and all these evil companies and things like that. And it's like, it's a different mindset shift. It's such a beautiful way to look at it too.
I agree wholeheartedly. That makes a lot of sense.
And there's one caveat. Of course, things can get evil, right? Of course,
sure. But I think we'll just say
even nonprofits do it.
We'll just say to a certain demographic, there's more appeal,
Yep.
more purpose, more moral ground, and just all around genuinity from a nonprofit doing that. Say Project Refit and a for-profit were doing the same thing, right? People would be like, hey, you're doing extra because it's not for a profit. And I think that's just like a talking point.
Yeah, maybe.
I think you're still doing the same work. The difference is financial, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you as a nonprofit were making, we'll say $1 million a year,
Mm-hmm.
and then Refit Project, who is a for-profit, were making $1 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
They're also paying their people however much they deem is necessary,
Mm-hmm.
whereas the for-profit is not doing that.
Or the nonprofit.
The nonprofit is not doing that with the amount, with the money that they get donated or driven.
Well, at that point, so that comes into the concept of, and honestly, a misunderstanding. The nonprofit at that point would hopefully be hiring people, because you need to hire people to keep things going.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to reach the $1 million mark without having people actually driving that forward. It's almost impossible not to have somebody hired at that point to be managing things. And it's more difficult. That's why I've really come to the conclusion that running a nonprofit is more difficult in many ways than running a for-profit, because it's like, well, how are we getting paid? Of course we can offer services and such. And I actually even tossed out the idea one time of like, hey, let's have like a monthly like subscription essentially to have communities and to build communities inside of Refit so people can get that help, just like this guy is doing, because we need to have some kind of revenue stream coming in so we can stay alive. And it's a very difficult thing to do as a nonprofit, because then a lot of people don't understand how business works at all. And they just work in businesses, they don't actually run them. And that's something that it's just so challenging to manage it all, because and to get into provide that value, because it gets into the whole concept of like, well, what are you doing this for then? Why are you a nonprofit?
I think the difference is the clarity. Like, where's the money going?
Yeah.
What's the mission? How much of the funds are going into the mission? Is the mission led with your heart, or are you just trying to get your money? Like, the clarity on the mission is much better from a nonprofit than it is for a for-profit.
Yeah.
It's easier to trust it.
I don't know, man. I think it's harder to trust a nonprofit. Honestly, I've from my own experience being in it, everybody questions me. Everything's questioned. And when I ask people to do things like, hey, can you help us out? Can you volunteer? And then they volunteer for like one day. And then it's like, you try to get them to stay on top of something. And then you turn into an enemy, and then they fucking hate you because you're like, so you're not paying me to do this. And it's like, because we can't. It's a volunteer position, like
Yeah.
it, and it gets into that. So that's, and nonprofits are, it's not just the money coming in, but it is also that heart piece where it's like, well, is your heart even in it? Like, are you? And it becomes a microscope, almost like you're a politician.
Remy.
Ooh, Remy, you don't want to do that.
No.
That might fall, sweetie. You don't want to get hurt. So, you know, that's the other caveat. So it's balancing reputation with money. You know, it is a balancing act, and it's very challenging. And the guy, by the way, the guy that I brought up, Made Man, his name is Mike. Very much his heart is in it. He loves what he's doing. He loves helping the guys out. He absolutely has his heart in the right place. And he also recognized early on that he has to do it as a for-profit because he needs to bring the money in to help out more people. And that's a really important thing. And I even said to him, that's a great decision that you made not to make it into a nonprofit. And then he was also talking about, he's like, oh, maybe I should run my own nonprofit. And I was like, don't open your own nonprofit, brother. Like, that is going to be so much to do both at the same time. And I know it from experience. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't make my mistake. Stay focused, partner up with nonprofits. I'm offering you the opportunity to partner up with a nonprofit to help you out that way. And, you know, he's like, all right. He's like, I didn't even think about that. He's like, he's like, I've had a couple guys who said that to me before, but I guess it didn't really resonate, you know, hearing it from you and being that you're in it. He's like, that totally makes sense. And, you know, I trust that opinion a lot. I was like, absolutely. Like, don't do that. You know, you're already having a hard time sleeping, you know, getting hit up by people 24/7, you know, having everything flow through you. Like there has to come the point where you can hire people to delegate that work out. And he can do that because he has that opportunity. So with the for-profit instead of it being a nonprofit.
Right. Yes. Back to what you said though, is like the you know, people coming after you about like where the money is. That's happening at a for-profit too.
All the time.
That's happening at a for-profit.
It's just the answer,
well, you know, you're doing this for, you know, the veterans. Where's all the money going?
Yeah.
Where, you know, how much are you paying yourself, Mr. VP?
My favorite part about a nonprofit when that comes up is like, look at our 990.
Yeah,
it's open.
Public.
You can see it. Yeah. With a for-profit, they don't have to answer any of those questions at all. They actually don't even have to deal with it. They don't even, it's like, whatever, like we're just doing it. Right. Unless it's a publicly traded company, they can dive in and look at stuff. And people don't care how much money people make usually. I mean, sometimes they do or whatever, but
those accusations go everywhere.
It's everywhere.
And that's with on a much broader spectrum.
That's usually a bigger company too.
That's just people.
That's people. Yeah.
You're going to come across just haters and naysayers in your life. And it's completely up to you about how you're going to handle it and navigate it and have it affect you.
Yeah.
So we've had that before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've fixed that for you in person offensively. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get in too deep with it, but like
that's very funny.
Your defense on that is the people who have seen your actions.
Work, and the actions.
Your actions speak louder than your I-9s can.
Yeah.
You know, the lives that you've saved. You have videos of guys saying, thank you.
Yeah.
You know, you did this. I'm still fucking here because of this.
Yeah.
You know, and I get this little fucking angel because of it. You know what I mean? So when people come after you about that, or Dan or whatever, I expect you to shut up and let somebody else who knows what the fuck is going on based off of seeing the actions of the nonprofit can take control of it. But I hope when you don't have anybody around you, you just don't let it affect you, because you're just going to get haters and naysayers all over the place.
The only time it does affect me is when it's a guy that's in refit and like you try to like hold them accountable and then they get really upset and then they flip out or whatever. That's the only time I'm like, dang, dude, I'm just like trying to do my job too, you know? And it's just that part hurts me because I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm not trying to come after you. I'm not trying to say anything about you, whatever. Like I'm just talking to you, you know?
Or if motherfuckers want to flip on social media and try to make things political for their donations.
Oh yeah. I don't want to even dive into that. That was wild. That's okay. Yeah. That was actually surprising to me, but that's okay. So yeah, I like I said, I don't even want to get into that, but
We don't do politics here.
it's yeah, we can't. I mean, like this is not a political organization at all. And whatever personal opinions we have are separate from that. It's personal. So, but anyway, yeah, and then the entitlement, to get back to the entitlement piece and like the victimhood and everything like that, it's just, it breaks, that kind of like breaks my heart overall, because again, this country was built on such amazing foundations. And, like of course mistakes happen, and, the past has its issues and, problems or whatever, but, we're fixing them slowly as we can. And it's just such a beautiful thing to watch people grow and get better and be healthier. And I don't know, man. It's such a difficult thing.
Yeah, it is very difficult, and that's something else I was going to bring up is like there's a difference between that and so here's my struggle, right? Is I'm just a regular civilian, right?
Right.
And I am into politics or government, and I'm big into that stuff. This is another stretch, right? This is another factor where you're like, hey, when is it too much?
Yep.
But like, what if, say, somebody came to you and said free healthcare, and you said no, obviously not, right? Which I share that. But what if they said like, well, what is my government doing with all of this money? And
Yeah.
right, and there is a solid point there. Like there's so much money in it, and I think a majority of it is status, right? Being the head, some of the head honchos. Where are we taking money from? Where are we giving it back to? And I think there's a difference between entitlement and expectation.
Yeah, holding people accountable, like holding your
Accountability is good.
Yeah.
So government accountability is another thing. So and I think that's where a majority of our entitlement comes from, is like from, hey, I expect free healthcare. Hey, I expect free college. Hey, I expect
free.
Free. Yeah. And I think there's also a fine line there. I think you can't expect any of it. If you want it, get up and fucking work for it. But at the same time,
that's the American way.
At the same time, like, what is my leadership doing for me? Because that's a big thing everywhere. What is my leadership doing for me? So it's like as tired as I am of seeing all the videos that I see all the time, all the things I see in person, trying to battle my kids with entitlement. That's a battle that I have to face every day. Is like, they're, can I have this? No. Why? And I flip out because I said so. I don't need to give you right, because they want it. So kids, teens, adults, from everything from the candy to this at a store to free housing. There's a lot of it, and it's hard to battle it, and it's tiring.
It is,
but
very
there are
tiring.
points where something is owed, and I think that's up to other people to recognize, not that person.
Yeah, like, to go back to the historical thing, because I left it hanging with the Vietnam vets. They fought for so much because they never wanted to have another generation go through what they went through. And I feel like it just ended up becoming this spiral where it just got out of control, where now it's, the same victimhood that the Vietnam veterans felt, which was horrible, which is why I always say to them, like, welcome home, whenever I see a Vietnam veteran. The same victimhood that they felt, it's almost like the spirit of that victimhood was put into all of the moves that were made. And then now it's infecting future veteran generations. And it's just like we have to break this, and we have to empower them and show them that they are a lot more valuable than they even recognize. And you can withstand anything. You can heal from anything, no matter what it is. That's a majority. There's some people who have an injury, like a moral or a or PTSD, let's say, injury that some people just can't shake. And you see that even throughout history, but majority of people can heal. Their minds are strong enough. We're built for this. Human beings are way stronger. We got into that the last one a couple weeks ago when we were talking about it. And that's something that does still, like, that breaks my heart as a whole. It's like when I'm watching a guy who's very clearly a good thinker and very clearly can think clearly, I should say, or very obviously can think clearly, to be even more direct. Um, and they just stay stuck, and they stay in that headspace, and they don't have any growth, and they are still like a. I look at some people and I'm like, you're still a teenager. You're not even like you saw man shit and you still act like a teenager.
Mm.
You went through man shit and you have a teenager's mindset or a young adult's mindset, and you're like 30 something or 40 something.
Oh man.
And like it's like, take some actual full accountability for your actions in your life and where you're at right now. And every day that you wake up that you feel like the world's against you, that's you feeling that way.
Yeah.
It's you doing that. You can choose to look at the world differently. You can look at problems as opportunities. You can look at these issues as opportunities to be better. It's hard to say that to people, though. It's hard.
It's hard to receive it too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's probably harder to receive it than it is to say it, and it's freaking hard to say that.
Oh my God, yeah. It turns into that, like, that's why words are so powerful for the human being,
Yeah.
because it's you get into the fight or flight, because when you say something to someone that you're seeing, and then they flip out, they start telling you, you don't understand, you don't get it, you don't blah, 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 and they just lose their fucking minds on you. And it's because they're in that fight state. They don't, like, they feel like you're talking down on them. Like, it's hard to say things like that. Like if you say something like, hey, you can be better, you can do better. It's like, what do you think? I'm a piece of shit. You saying I'm a piece of shit? It's like, no, I'm not saying you're a bad person. I'm saying you can do better.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Like, don't take those words and immediately go to the negative. And of course, if you're talking to a psychologist or whatever, and they'll meet as like negativity complex, negativity's oh gosh, I forget the full term, but it is a negativity complex. And you're just going right to that. And it's like,
no, I believe in you.
I believe in you.
I know you can do better because I believe you. I trust in you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's a totally, but it's hard to say, it's hard to drive that home to people without them, again, feeling that victimhood and feeling attacked by it. It's something that I wish I could say in a way that it actually comes down to the reputation of the person saying it. If you know me, like, I had a guy, one of our guys said to me, like, and we just met him, and I actually really like this guy a lot. I think he has his flaws, of course, and he is actually working through them and trying his best to. But he said to him, I'm just like disappointed because I thought you would know me better. And I was like, don't say that manipulative shit to me. I just met you. We just met each other. And when I said that, but he was able to receive it. He really thought about it. And that's what I respected about him. And he was like, all right. I was like, okay, I see that. Like, he was able to actually understand a lot. He wants to be better. Absolutely. And I like him a lot. I like this guy a lot. He works hard. I think he'll be a huge asset for Refit too eventually, like, as he gets more into it, and he's getting out of the military right now. But we had that conversation, but he received it. It was hard to hear, but he received it, and he's really trying harder, and he's really trying to push forward. And that's all you can ask from somebody. We're all trying to figure it out. We're all trying to get better. Like, I personally I'm really trying to get better at the not allowing the things happening around me to affect me and what I'm doing, and staying focused and forward. Like, that's stoicism. I'm very much trying to take accountability for how I react to things. There's still certain things that people do where I absolutely know I have to put up hey, you will not bully me. You will not do this to me. You will not do that. Like, I'm not going to take that shit from you. Right. But that's something, even like in stoicism, you actually don't respond that way. You just go, okay.
Yeah.
Like, and you should receive it, and that's something else I'm trying to really work on. because I'm not perfect, and I know I'm not. And I know I don't know everything, you know?
No, but I can say on a very respectful level that when you tell somebody, hey, don't fucking say that disrespectful shit to me, it's not from a place of malice.
It's
It's a
not.
place of
Yeah.
from coming from you. It's a place of stoicism. It's like, hey, I'm going to tell you this. This offended me. I don't accept that, and I'm going to tell you why, and then we're going to work through this
Dude,
shit together.
I have a great example, actually. Very random. We're out in Iowa last week, Rob and I, and this girl. We're getting pizza. It was really late. I just flew in. I'm super hungry. There's a place that has gluten-free pizza. I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
So I went. Yeah. Went. It's a college bar or whatever, and we get gluten-free pizza. It was very good too, by the way. What was the name of it? I forget the name of the place, but anyway, so we go in there. This girl walks up. You know, she's drunk. She's young, and she starts talking to me, and she's talking about like the Pitch Perfect song thing with the cup and everything.
Okay.
And I'm just bullshitting like, oh no, it's this way. I'm just fucking with her, whatever. And she's like, you're a dumbass. And I was like, yo, hold up. Don't talk to me that way. You're not allowed to say that to me. You don't even know me. And she was like, she kind of like took a step back, like, oh shit, you know. But I could tell, like, as like she respected a lot.
Yeah.
And she was just like, oh, like that kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
I'm talking to a dude that's not going to let me like bully him or whatever, you know?
Well, not only are you not going to bully, but you're also not going to.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to me that way.
You're also not going to escalate it, right?
I'm not, yeah.
Like, I'm not going to punch you in the face for
Right,
saying this,
right.
but like, also
Don't talk to me that
don't
way.
talk to me like that.
Right, yeah.
Now, me and my wife do the same thing. And I know I've
Yeah.
mentioned this before, but like when things get like a little extra heated and, you know, something might fling my way that, you know, was said out of anger,
Yep.
I will literally calm the room and hey, we don't talk to each other like that.
Yeah.
And it immediately, like, she goes up here real quick, like, God damn it, and then brings it back down, and then we can continue having
That's
a
love and
conversation.
trust. Yeah.
And it's like, that's a big thing about respect and delivery. Delivery is
Yes.
a big thing as well.
Yeah.
And if I delivered it like, hey, you can't fucking say that shit to me. Like, don't fucking say that to me.
Right.
You can't talk to me like that. Like,
Yep.
I deserve more respect than that. I'm entitled to more respect than that. But no, if you bring it back down and say, hey,
don't talk to me like that.
We don't talk to each other like that.
Yeah.
What else can you do but not be the problem at that point and bring it back down and have that conversation?
Yes.
Because if you continue going on and say, oh, I don't care, I'm gonna fucking say whatever I want, then you're obviously the asshole. Right?
That's right.
It's a very easy way, a very effective way to bring down elevated communications.
Yes.
And I love it.
Same.
It's my favorite thing.
I do that too. We actually have a couple of comments. So Jeff said, people just want to dwell on the used to be, time to grow up, move on. Or, oh, right. Like looking in the past, like, oh, I used to be this cool. I used to be this, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, man, well, it's time to grow up and you got to move on. Like, you have a new set in your life. You have to find a new mission, find a higher purpose to strive towards. Yeah, that's true, Jeff. Definitely. So my mom, Elizabeth, she said, words make or break, step to accepting self and healing or rejecting, a choice for positive or negative, words and faith. Big time. Absolutely. Words definitely have that kind of power, and it's up to you to make the decision of how you're going to use them and how you're going to accept them.
Step to accepting self and healing.
Yeah. That's it. You got to heal yourself through the words that you're using. 100%. That's true. I mean, that's the literate creature theory that I came up with. You know, we are creatures. And literature, you know, it's we eat words, and what words are we feeding ourselves? You know,
words start wars, words end wars.
Man, oh man, do they ever? I mean, it's kind of crazy. We're in, you know, Lisa and I were in Ireland, and we saw there's like this whole statue and monument dedicated to a treaty that was developed, like this a document, you know, words. And she said, you know, it's kind of amazing how powerful documents are throughout history and even to this day. Like we have treaties and things we abide by, you know, and that we agree to
because it's on paper.
It's on paper.
Yeah.
So words are so powerful. It's the programming of the human and of the human experience, believe it or not. And that's why the witches were talked about so much in the past, and like are good witches or bad witches? Like, what are they saying to you, right? What are the words that they're using against you or for you? And that, like, what am I telling? What is the narrative I'm telling? Am I going to believe what that person said to me or not? And that to me is like everything. I mean, it's so true.
Yeah.
It's seen. So it's a historical, I don't know, piece, you can see it throughout history. It's
Yeah.
just, it's amazing how powerful words are.
Yeah.
And I feel like individuals do not treat, not enough individuals treat those words. They think it's kitschy or bullshitty or whatever. But when you begin to really dive into the self narrative and what you're saying, I mean, like, it's so, so amazing to
Self
watch
narrative and public narrative, like the people who you're talking to,
who you surround
that's
yourself
important
with.
as well,
Yeah.
because you can't, like, words are only effective if you're listening to them too.
Mm.
So understanding the perspective of the people you're talking to while also being able to effectively communicate your perspective is that's what matters.
Yeah.
That's so important.
It really is. I mean, and then when you hear about people like, oh, like leveling up their lives and stuff like that. And I have one guy who, he's a friend of mine. He's really leveling up his life, and he has more money coming in, more people he's talking to that are in bigger circles and things like that. And he's like, dude, I kind of know that people, as you move up, like, there's a lot of wealthy people that are like the nicest people you could ever meet, and they just want to work with you and collaborate. And he's like, and when I talk to some of my old buddies, like, I feel like I'm losing connection with them because, like, they're all victims to their circumstances, and they're some of my best friends I grew up with. And I'm like, listen, you can still keep relationships with them, and so check in on them, and like send them messages and stuff like that, and like be a part of their lives. But if it is affecting you to that level, like, take note of it and maybe try to bring them up with you,
Yeah.
And I have one buddy of mine, he is leveling him. I have another buddy of mine is leveling his life up big time, crushing it in sales, going after dreams, starting a YouTube channel that's blowing up in 30 days. He has over like 1 million views on his stuff. And like, he really put in the time to learn the strategies, to learn the way the videos should look, and the value and the teaching you can bring through it, because teaching is the best way to grow a channel. You just don't talk about bullshit. You're teaching people things. You're providing value, right? In a capital society, what value you're providing. And he learned it, and he's really leveling up, but he's losing connection with some people. And it's because those people, they take personal offense to his success. It's not about it's like, it's him. It's almost like they're taking his success as shining on them, their inadequacy.
Yeah.
And it's not. He's just doing his own thing. He's just growing and being better for his family, himself, and others.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. It's not exactly pride. That's like
Pride and jealousy, big time.
I don't think it's pride and jealousy. I think it's superiority complex.
Take me down that.
I think, like, if somebody's little brothering somebody and helping them along and following them and everything, and then stop talking to them or following them because of their success, it's almost like you're not my little brother. You're kind of like a peer now.
No, you misunderstood what I was saying.
Uh,
The guy that's becoming successful wants to still keep relationships with them, but the people who aren't getting that same success are going to him.
Okay. Understood.
He wants to keep that relationship. Most do, right? Yes, there's some people that get success. Oh, I'm too good for you now. Yeah, it's superior. Totally. Those are assholes, right? And you don't want to be talking to that person no matter what. Like, that's a person you don't want to be around. That kind of success is short-lived, actually. But people who elevate themselves, and a good example actually is Mark Cuban talked about this. He's like, I still have friends who, he's like, and I don't say this like a douche, but I have friends who, they have regular jobs and they're just kind of hanging out. They have barbecues and shit. I still go to their barbecues and hang out with those guys. Like, those guys never judged me because I was making a ton of money. A lot of people did, but my closest friends didn't. They didn't care. They're like happy for me, right? Like, keep it up, bud. Like, keep going. Like, you're doing good work, He still goes to their barbecues at their homes. Like, regular ass houses. You know what I mean? And like they're doing
Hey,
well for their kids.
If
They're
I was
doing well
friends
for
with
their
Mark
family.
Cuban, I'd cheer him on too.
Yeah, but that's because you're friends with him and you want to see him succeed. You want to be a
Sure.
part of that.
And I'm also going to invite him to my wedding, and I'm going to
Yeah.
invite him to my birthday, and I'm going to
Yeah.
invite him to Christmas.
Yeah. Like you have him a part of your life. And it's like, are you saying that
Because he's very rich.
Oh, yeah. But like it's
No, I get it. I get it.
Yeah. It's the friends are just happy for you. They don't want anything in return. They're just happy for you and your success, and they want to see you grow. And it's exciting. Like my buddy, we had I think like a 3-hour conversation. He actually helps out Refit still too. We had like a 3-hour conversation, and we're just talking about like, man, I'm so proud of you. Like you're killing, talking, gassing each other up, talking about ideas, talking about things. You know what I mean? Like that's a really healthy, awesome relationship, you know? And I love that. I love seeing
the
that.
song Broski by Joyner Lucas.
Tell me.
It's about this. It's spoken as if it was Joyner's friend, but it is Joyner, right?
Yeah.
And they grew up early, and he's like, I'm so proud of your success, and like,
So
thank you for everything. No. He's talking to so it's Joyner's voice, but he's pretending to be like
a friend,
an old friend.
Got it.
And he's like, hey, I'm so happy for your success, and I love you, and you're still part of the family, and remembering all the things that he did for me, and when I went to prison, you put money on my books, and you even helped pay for my niece's college and all this other stuff. And then it goes into like it like a steady from down, and then it like escalates, and it's like, well, I was just calling to see if you could let me hold something wavy, and like asking for money, and then acting like Joyner was saying no the whole time. And then he's like, well, fuck you. And, blah, 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 blah. And then at the end, it's like, but I'm still proud of your success, homie. You're still always be part of the family. And it's like that leech family member that's holding on to you because of your success instead of being there for you through all of it.
Yeah. I have a buddy.
That's a great song.
Send it to me. I would love to listen to it. There's actually a guy that comments on here a lot. His name is Ray. He actually texted me the other day. He was like, dude, I'm just want to let you know, like, I'm really proud of you. Like, you're doing great.
Yeah.
Like, you're helping people out. You're going after your dreams kind of thing. And like, I'm really proud of you, man. When I get messages like that from my boys, man, that helps out a lot. You know what I mean? You say that stuff to me too.
I do
and
say that stuff.
And it means a lot. And it means actually, it's not a comparison thing. When you say it to me, it brings a little bit even more emotion. It's not one's better than the other, but it's a little bit more emotion because you're still here to be able to say that. And you've become a buddy of a very close friend of mine through all of this, and I love that you have Remy and you're still a part of your family's life. And like, it makes me really emotional. Actually, I'm getting emotional right now talking about it, but like, it's just such a powerful, beautiful thing,
Yeah.
And like, those are the things that I remember through all the struggles and all the bullshit that I sometimes have to go through. Like, there's still people that are walking this earth because I walked it.
Yeah.
Fuck
yeah.
Why am I getting emotional right now?
Because it's emotional. It's a powerful thing, man.
Damn.
Knowing that you touched people's lives, like literally, like that's a figure of speech, I understand, but knowing that you physically had a hand on somebody's life and in a positive fashion, and that would have an impact as dire as it did mine or so many others. It's a powerful thing, and it's a bond that you be hell in a handbasket to try to break. So
yeah.
Like that's some deep shit, and it's emotional. Damn. It is very emotional. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's all right. That's love, man. That's where true family comes from. Family. Oh, what's that goddamn song? Fuck.
One like fucking.
Oh yeah. The blood ain't thicker than water after all.
I don't know. I love that quote though. Blood thicker than water. Actually, I love it more because I understand it.
Dude, I'm living it.
Yeah.
I'm literally living it. Like, so here's you guys, you motherfuckers want to get personal. Here we go. I got some information about My brother,
Hmm.
he's him and his new wife are expecting a baby.
That's cool.
And my mom called me and told me, and she's like, "Hey, have you heard the news yet?" And I'm like, "Well, first of all, I'm surprised that I was hearing from my mom. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?"
Hmm.
And that's a whole story in itself. But I don't hear from my brother. I don't hear from my mom. All I hear from is my dad from my family. You know what I mean? And literally, it's just my dad.
Yeah.
Um, which is wild if you know anything about my history. Uh, and I was like, no, I haven't heard from him. Why? And she was like, well, he just got off the phone with your dad, and it was a kind of an emotional conversation, and he told her this, and immediately I'm like, well, I share the same sentiments that my dad did, and I'm glad you told me first because I would have reacted poorly too. Um, what should normally be a very happy occasion, obviously, I have a niece somewhere in Arizona that I don't know,
Yeah.
that I don't talk to, that I've held once in my entire life years ago, and that's fucked up.
Yeah. It's sad.
And like, there's gonna be excuses, but the accountability aspect's not there.
Yeah.
None of the important aspects to make me an understanding member of your family is there. So when I hear that you're having another one, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
all right. Like, it's not a fuck you, but it's not like a hey, yay, I'm so happy for you. Like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna see this child of yours, that you live in a different fucking state.
Yeah.
So it's just it's the point was blood's not thicker than water, and I'm living it 100% because 90% of my family is not my blood. Not my blood. The people that I hold
Water.
dearest to my yes, the people that I hold dearest to my heart outside of my wife and my kids and my dad. My dad's not even technically blood, but um it's like you, Mark, my boy Warren.
Oh, that's actually the book that has the name of the guy that I was talking about earlier. Remy has it right now.
Oh, don't no.
It's okay.
Oh, she'll mess it up. It's not okay. Don't do that.
But
I know you like books.
yeah, go ahead.
That's my point though, is like it's once the older you get and the more virtues and values you have for yourself and those around you,
So important.
you recognize how
Virtues and values.
little tolerance you have for anybody else's bullshit, no matter if they're blood or not.
Yeah.
And when I came home from deployment, 50% of my friend force weeded themselves out.
Yeah.
They just stopped showing up, and that's fine with me because I came home to Travis when he was 7 months old. After that, I took a good hard look at the energy that people were bringing me, the amount of substance that they were bringing to my life,
Right.
and I slowly and surely started getting these people the fuck out of my life because they're not. If you're not bringing me substance, positive substance, I'm not going to have you here.
Yeah.
And that's as simple as that. If all you bring is negativity or you don't bring shit, you're not going to be here.
Yeah.
If
That's
you're going to
awesome.
be here for me and my family. Don't just be here for me. If you're going to be here without the negativity, without the bullshit. I'm too old for that now. I'm too matured for that now. And that's how I live my life. And now, like, when my brother hits me up once every 2 years, like, I'm like, hey, how you doing? Yeah, it was great to see you. Yeah, we could hang out. Family is absolutely a choice.
Ray asked Rock, are you saying family is a choice?
Absolutely, family is a choice.
Yeah.
Family is definitely a choice. Just because, and just because your dad and mom birthed you doesn't mean that you have to like them or consider them family. I mean, they might be blood tied to you, but if they don't bring you anything, like if you were abused growing up and it just never ended and they just weren't beings that you wanted to be around or that brought any worth to your life or made you feel like a human being, absolutely.
Yeah. That kind of stuff breaks my heart. And something else too about the blood thicker than water. I learned that this is badass. That quote actually derives from um, the bloodshed on the battlefield is thicker than the water of the womb. So that's where it actually derived from. So the blood, it's the water that you're saying is not, because it's the water of the womb, it's the family, because you're birthed from, and the bloodshed, the people that you're, the friends, the people that you're battling with and shedding blood with, is thicker than that water you were born from.
Yeah.
So that's like a, by the way, all the same stuff. I just thought I would share that really cool, like, because I just learned what that meant maybe like a year ago. It was actually at Wade's wedding that I learned that when Snooki was Wade's best man. He's actually been on here. I was just talking to Snooki the other day, but when he shared that during his best man speech, he's like, when he said that, I was like, is that true? Is that really what it means? And I asked him, he's like, look it up. He's like, that's what it means. I was like, damn, that's deep. Like that's the friends piece, right? Like you can choose who you're willing to shed blood with. You can choose who you're going to have around in your family. And if the water is not sustainable or it doesn't provide you the sustenance to life, to living a better life, then you do have to break it. But that also breaks my heart, man. It's so many family. Of course, sometimes it is better to let go, but I feel like so many people give up on their families. And by the way, I'm not saying any of this to you. I'm just speaking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
so many
look,
people.
There's nobody that could ever make me feel bad about it.
Yeah. No.
Family's automatic.
Yeah.
Or family's not automatic. It's earned.
And the thing that's special about it, like, is, or family is special. And I feel like we have to put more out sometimes to heal the family. Relax, buddy. I know you want to play. Relax. Sorry, we have our dog here too, and our co-host and Remy, and he wants to play with Remy, and he's getting mad at me. But people, I feel like we have to put more effort sometimes into repairing the relationships with our family members, and like that's something I wish more people could do, and it takes a lot of pain, and it takes a lot of sacrifice, but it's also learning how to communicate with the family member, because it's so important to have family in your life, because when you get older, like, what are you going to do? Why? Like, it's family. Family is going to be there for you.
Yeah.
And yes, you can choose family and it might be with you for the rest of your life, but family is everything. Like, I did something recently with my family. My cousin came up from North Carolina, and they invited everyone over to my parents' house to, she wanted to show them like her award that she got, and like talk about it and like share it with the family, and all the cousins came, and or as many as that could, because some of us live in different parts of the country, but we all converged at my parents' house. It was like, the aunts and the uncles and the cousins, and it was probably like 30 of us inside, the jam packed around the little TV in my parents' house, and like watching her speech and like the award, and then afterwards I started asking her like a bunch of questions, and like she started telling us about her experience, what she was feeling, what she was thinking, and it was very special, man. It was so cool to just be a part of that. And I was like, man, this is cool. Like, this is something not a lot of families get, and the Corbett family is very much about that. And like, we're not perfect, like I wish I could see some of my cousins more, but I'm the youngest out of the second generation. Right. And like, it's hard to connect, but when I was there and I was able to like be around them, and it's so special to me and my perspective of it, is because it's like, oh man, I get to see like my older cousins killing it. She's older. She's like, I think she's in her 50s or something like that. And, it's just so cool to see that she impacted so many lives and students and, and people, and, and she's really giving back in a big way. And, she chose a life of, she chose a single life to give back to the family. She never got married or anything like that. And she very much just chose that path to give back to her community. And man, it's so cool to see that she's getting the recognition that she absolutely deserves. And we got to do that as a family. She came up from the Carolinas and just did that with us. It was just, I wish more families had those kind of opportunities. And I don't know, it's worth it to put yourself out there, to talk to them, and to try to repair those relationships sometimes, especially as we get older. But it's hard. It's very, very hard. And someone has to be the one that initiates it. And that person's the one that's going to probably get hurt a lot while doing it. But if it's really intentional, the goodness will always shine through. You know, I've done it. I've witnessed it. You know, I've experienced it. And I just, especially for America, you know, not to bring up America again or whatever, but this whole nation was founded on like the families being together because we are the ones that are driving this nation forward. And that's why when I see, especially some of our best, whether you volunteered or not, it's some of our best faltering and tripping and being victims to their own circumstances. It's just, you're letting life happen to you instead of you happening to life, you know? And it's just such a difficult thing to witness and heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough. Like, trust me, I would like nothing more than things to be okay with, you know, my mom and my brother. But at the same time, my mentality about it is my family will prioritize being my family.
Yeah.
And
you have a family that
Yeah.
you're, you know, taking care of.
if that's not a priority for you, that's okay. But I'm not going to be here for you anymore, and I'm not going to be hurting about it. That's the best thing that I ever did for myself. And I do want to say this to Austin: I've lost more family than I was ever born with. You've only lost as much family as you consider them to be family.
Yeah.
I have lost family, but only in the direct definition. In my life, I haven't lost shit. I haven't lost any family. I have my family. I have them all, except for those who have, you know, passed away. My mom will always be my family. She's the OG. She was the family gangster. But if you've lost family, you've only lost them if you define them as family. Other than that, they're just people.
Yeah.
And if you have that headspace, it's going to be so much easier to cut off the extra fat.
Yeah, it's tough. That is very tough. Man.
By all means, if you love them, try to mend it. You know, I've done my due diligence, but in the end of the day, if they're not receptive to your effort, it's up to you to
continue,
you know, how you're going to feel about losing them, or I don't even call it losing them. I just cut that tie. Just let them go. I just don't worry about it anymore. Now, if my mom ever calls me and is like, hey, I love you, I need help. Like, she asked me for help a couple months ago getting her ID back. I did what I had to do. You know, there's a respect factor there. You know, because you kept me alive for 18 years. But and if she ever wants to reach out and be like, hey, I want to prioritize being a family, and I want to come around and see my grandkids, and, you know, how are you, and all this other stuff, and taking an interest in any of our lives, really, I don't even care if it's just mine, then yeah, absolutely, I'm gonna, you know, I opened my world back up to my dad, and things have been fucking wonderful. You know, so they're not permanently gone. I'm just not going to be reaching out to them, and I'm not going to be butthurt about it.
See, that's a difference between you and I feel like so many others where they're like, oh, I'm setting these boundaries and it's gone. You know, it's like, that's so heartbreaking. You know, that's almost a poison to yourself and to potentially those morals and values that you brought up, right? Like, you are a forgiving person. That's a wonderful thing. That's a beautiful thing. It's a hard thing. It's not hard to you because it's a part of you, but it's hard for a lot of people to have that kind of forgiveness. And
she hasn't really done anything wrong.
Right.
Just not reaching out, not prioritizing the family. I'm not going to take offense to that. If you're prioritizing your life, that's entitlement. I shouldn't feel entitled that you pay attention to my life. If you want to, then great. She's not wronging me in any way. But don't expect my daughter doesn't know her name or what her face is. She could see a picture and be like, who the fuck is that? You know, and that's heartbreaking for them, you know, maybe heartbreaking for my mom, but again, I don't see it that way. But if she could, it's not a forgiveness thing. If she wants to be a part of it, and you want to continuously bring positivity and you know, you're gonna pay attention to my kids and your grandkids, and then I'm good. It's not a forgiving thing. A lot of forgiveness went into my dad, though.
Yeah.
A lot of forgiveness went into my dad. A fucking lot of it.
But it worked.
But it worked.
So it's such a powerful action, especially when you take it seriously too.
I'm so
That goes for
fucking
yourself,
proud of him.
too.
I'm so fucking proud of him. And it was a very actions speak louder than words thing.
Yeah.
And his actions have been deafening.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful quote too.
I
His
like
actions
that.
are
I just
deafening.
made that.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Actions are louder than words, and your actions are deafening.
That's beautiful.
I'm gonna text him that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
That's a special word. That's a special phrase.
Dude, he texted me this morning. He's like, "Hey, just been thinking about you, worried about you. Hope you're feeling okay today. Have a great day." That's the fuck what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Just don't want anything. Be positive in my life.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I ask.
Yeah, Sam.
You don't even have to show up all the time, but like just be a positive force in my life. Reoccurring.
Yeah.
And I'm good. Get off? You want me to get off? You want to come up? You want to come up?
You want to say goodbye to
You want to
everybody?
say bye to everybody? Come here.
Come on up and say it into the mic. We are going to be signing off now. It's kind of abrupt, but we did reach our hour mark.
Say bye, everybody.
Bye, buddy.
Oh, I love that. Bye.
Bye.
All right. See you, everyone. Thank you so much for
Thanks
tuning
for
in today.
listening.